What's happening YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Now today the question I'm looking to answer is, can you still get rich whilst renting? I.e. if you rent for the rest of your life and don't buy a house, don't get onto the property ladder, can you still make it? That's basically the question. Now there isn't a yes or no answer to this question, obviously, because there's many different aspects that we need to look at. The first thing we need to look at is the fact that having a paid for home is an asset that will continue to make you money in your sleep. Even the moment you sign those papers and you've still got a mortgage on the house, but the equity is going to keep increasing in the property, meaning it's going to keep going up and up and up, and that is going into your pocket from the moment you sign the paperwork. As opposed to renting, rent is going to be on the increase year after year after year. So if you're in your 20s, say for the next 40-50 years that you're alive and you rent, you're going to have that payment which is going to be increasing and increasing every year. Now at the moment that should be fine. However, later down the road, especially when you get into your older age, into retirement, when you don't have as much energy to do 40 or 50 hours a week and the rent is continued to increase, that's when it can become very problematic. Whereas if you've got your own paid for home, you've got the safety, you've got the security, you've got the stability, the fact that it's making you money as well, it's sort of a nest egg which you can pass down to your kids as well. And I think it's just that peace of mind as well, that you've got your own house, your home, your castle that no one can take off you. Whereas if you did rent, especially in your senior years, the landlord could come knocking at any point and wanting to sell up the property, or the landlord passes away, or whatever the situation may be, and the estate comes knocking and you need to move out. Now being 70 or 80 and renting as a tenant with the worry that the landlord could come knocking at any point isn't really good peace of mind for yourself. So let's look at it this way. Your biggest expense in your budget will be housing. So whether that's a mortgage payment, whether that's a rent payment, your biggest expense month by month is going to be housing yourself and your family. Now, the last thing you want to have is no control over the biggest payment, i.e. your rent payment. Because one, it's increasing all the time, it's completely out of your control, and it's completely variable as well. So it could go up, it could go down, you just don't know what will happen. Furthermore, the money that you're paying towards your rent is paying off your landlord's mortgage. I wouldn't say it's wasted money, but you don't have anything to show for it at the end of it. Now, that answers the question. In the short term, of course, rent, because what renting actually does is actually buys you time, especially if you're pretty young and you're working to get out of debt, or you're needing to move. It gives you the flexibility, it buys you time to actually start saving up for a deposit for a house that you may want down the line. So in that sense, for the short term, of course, rent is probably the best option for you. However, the aim should be to have your own paid for home. So get onto the property ladder as soon as you possibly can with a good deposit, a big deposit, and start paying off that mortgage as soon as possible. Now, I'm not saying that you need to have a 6-bed, 5-bathroom mansion house or country estate somewhere. You could just have a 1 or 2 bedroom property, or a 1-2 bedroom flat in the centre. That's all you really need, as opposed to renting. The key takeaways from this video is rent in the short term is a definite. It's helped a lot of people. It can help you as well, especially if you're working to get out of debt, or you're looking to save for a deposit. So renting, I'm not saying no at all to it. I wouldn't look at it as throwing money away or paying off your landlord's mortgage or someone else's mortgage. For the short term, it'll give you the flexibility, it'll buy you the time. However, the long-term goal should be to get onto the property ladder, especially once you've got that deposit there, because in your early years, you should be okay. You can do the 40 hours and the 50 hours and whatnot, but when you get into retirement, especially in your 60s or 70, one, you won't have a nest egg. If you've been renting all your life, you won't have a paid for property which you could possibly downsize, especially if you bought it in today's market for £200,000-300,000 in your retirement age. That might be worth £700,000-800,000. You might want to downsize at that point, and you'll have that flexibility to do that. whereas renting again doesn't give you that option. Furthermore, the peace of mind that a paid for a house brings, you know you won't be getting thrown out, you know you won't have any payments, you know no landlord or no bank's going to come knocking to say that you owe them this or whatever. You'll be the king of your own castle, as they say. So that would be my take on it. I hope this could answer the question for anyone that's actually thinking of renting for the long term. Can you get rich from it? Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer to the question. However, in the long term, having £1,000 or a £1,500 or a £2,000 payment every month for the rest of your life won't really give you the flexibility to actually save some money and have a deposit. Whereas paying that sort of money towards the mortgage will only be a 10, 15, 20-year deal where you pay for that mortgage, and at the end of it, you've got all that in your house as equity, which you can then do whatever you want with it. And then once you've paid off your house, with that increased cash flow, you can then start investing and go absolutely crazy with investing, putting towards retirement, saving up for your kids' university or college funds, buying that dream car that you want, going on holidays, doing whatever you want to do. So I'm hoping, although it's a very short video, I'm hoping this is it helped some of you guys. And again, if you like the content, definitely subscribe, definitely like, definitely share. And then if you've got any other questions that you want me to answer, then of course chuck them in the comments below and I'll have a look at it. Thanks guys.